What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and as always, my name is Mike. This is my 2019 Dodge Charger Scat, and as promised, today we're going to do the 5 things that I hate about this car. Of course, every time I try to make a video, we've got the guy over there cutting grass, we've got the guys over there building the house, we got the guys over there building the house. So you guys have to bear with me just a little bit here. Audio is probably not gonna be the best again. I'd like to take a minute to thank everybody for the recent support in the channel. For everyone who has subscribed, thank you. And if you have not done that yet, just right down over here in this area, there should be a subscribe button. If you could hit that for me, that'd be appreciated. And we'll get to the list. All right, like I talked about in the last video of a YouTuber's life, trying to do cars. Today my car is nasty. I have not had a chance to wash it. At my job the other day, there was a massive fire and there is residue all over my car from it. So if you could look past that, I'd appreciate it. But the first thing that I want to talk about that I hate about my car is the panel gaps. If you can see, they are pretty big in some areas. They don't line up in other areas, and they are just, I mean, I don't know if you can really tell, but they're bad. And it's like that, you know, like I said, here in the front, it is massive. On one side, it's larger than the other, and it's like that all the way around the car. You know, you got some up here that are pretty, you know, you got a little gap and they come down and they're pretty tight. And down here, they're even overlapping and they don't line up there either. I mean, it's not a huge issue if you're not, you know, if it isn't your car, you probably won't even notice it. But I mean, they're all off some. I mean, I know this isn't a hand-built car, and and from working at Chrysler back in the day, I mean, I know a little bit, you know, they run these cars through the line so fast. I think when I worked there, we were doing a minivan every 47 seconds, I think it was. So it is to be expected, but you would think the guys on final assembly would catch some of this and adjust it. As far as the hood, I have adjusted it as much as I can. I mean, there's just little adjustments you can do, not very much. So that is the first thing that drives me crazy about this car. The second thing on the list that I want to talk about, and I know that they've worked on it a little bit. I think in 2015, when the Scat Packs were first coming out, they came with a 245/40 ZR20 on the rear. For the 2019s, I know mine has a 275/40 ZR20. And even with that, if you're trying to accelerate hard, you spin. The other night on my way home, I wish I would have had my GoPro on me that night, but I was coming home from work, middle of the night, and a BMW 7 Series wanted to play. And every time we hit the gas, I did nothing but spin. So he walked on me, and I mean, I guess really I'm glad I didn't have it now, because like I said, every time we hit the gas, we spun. We didn't go nowhere, so made us look like an idiot. So that's one of the things. As long as we're here talking about tires, the other thing that drives me crazy, and I guess a lot of the manufacturers are doing this now, but you don't get a spare tire. So if you get a flat on the side of the road, they just expect you to call roadside service. Well, with the job that I have, I am on call, and you only got 2 hours to get there. So if you get a blowout on the way to work, I can't just pull over to the side of the road and fix it. So I don't know if they're doing this for cost cutting. I don't know if they're doing it for weight savings, because you know the car already weighs 4,400 pounds. So it could be that. It could be them cheaping out. I don't know, but I really wish it would have come with a spare tire. Another thing about it, if I have a blowout in this car with where I live about 40 minutes south of St. Louis. There's not a lot of performance cars down here. I mean, you get your Mustang, Corvette, but there's no real exotic cars in our area, and if I get a blowout and I have to get a tow truck, nobody in our area is going to have Pirelli P0s on hand. So with them not giving me a spare tire just to get the car home, limp it home, I can use a different car. But the point is without that car is useless. I guess the only other thing that I could do is I could buy an extra rim and just have a rim and an extra tire on hand just for a situation like that, but I still think that's a pain. All right, getting back to the tire size. With this car only coming with a 275 on the rear, I know that the issue is being addressed. Dodge is coming out with the wide bodies for the 2020 model. I mean, they should have done that from the get-go. But with as many problems as I have with mine, with wheel spin, I mean, this only has 485 horsepower. I can only imagine the Hellcats having, what, 707? They've got to have more problems. And is the power even usable? I mean, at that point, can you even put that to the ground? Because I know that I'm having problems with 485, and God knows I'm not only, I'm probably only using half of that maybe when we're accelerating on the highway. So that should have been an issue that Dodge addressed from the beginning. I don't know what they were thinking about, but it was an issue, and hopefully with the wide bodies in 2020, maybe that'll solve the problem. All right, for the third thing on the list, we will have to enter the car. The next thing that I have to complain about is the Infotainment Center. They, FCA for sure cheaped out on this, and it drives me insane. Let's turn the radio down. So, you get it. You get into the drive mode, which takes, well, honestly, that comes up okay. But what drives me crazy is FCA cheaped out big time. They are using the same Infotainment Center for every Charger and Challenger. When you go to race options, you go to the line lock. I don't know if you can see it or not. There is clearly a Challenger Hellcat on there instead of a Charger. How hard would it have been for them to have one for each car? It can't be that big of a deal for them to go in and program a Challenger for the Challengers and a Charger for the Chargers. I feel like that was something that could have easily addressed. I don't know why they didn't. Like I said, unless it's just for cheaping out. Another issue with it, you go back to this. Watch how long it takes for the performance pages to load. I do not understand why it would take this long for this to load. I mean, is there really that much information going through this thing that it takes this long? I mean, it's still go. I mean, it took so long, I don't even know. I mean, I'm running out of stuff to say about it. There we go, finally. So it does come up, it does have some useful information, I guess. Most of it's gimmicky, I guess. You know, your G-forces and, you know, that kind of stuff. I don't even know if it's accurate. I mean, it's definitely delayed. That's for sure. So, along with that, I'm going to link in the rear view camera. Actually, right now, it doesn't really seem that bad. But if you're out in the direct sunlight, a lot of times you can't even see it. You can kind of see it up here. You see how there's a big dark spot right there in the top there? And if you get out in the bright sunlight, it is like that 10 times bad. hopefully sometime today I can get out somewhere and get the rear view camera up, and maybe it'll replicate it, because right now it's not. So that is the third thing that drives me crazy. We'll go right into the fourth thing. And for a car that is $40,000, I think the window on mine was $47,075, and I actually have the interior on this, you know, the dash just looks cheap. I mean, you know, for a car, like I said, that was approaching $50,000, everything just feels plastic, cheap. Even though they say this will, you know, this car does have the leather option, and it's cheap, it's plain. I don't know. I think they could have done a lot more things. You know, little things even, like even on the airbag, why couldn't they have changed this, you know, to the Scat logo, or change the one on the dash there? You know, they've got it on the dash there. How hard would it have been for them to change that? I mean, I'm sure that is just an emblem, a sticker, decal, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure that's all it is. They could have easily have changed that and individualized them, you know, for the RT, the Scat Pack, Daytonas, Hellcats. I think that would have been a nice little touch, and it wouldn't have been that expensive or hard for them to do. So, FCA, you need to step up your game. Thank you guys for making it this far in the video. If you like what you see, give me a like, subscribe, give me a comment down below if there's anything you think that I missed, or that you know that you hate about your car. And now the number one thing that I hate about this car is the maintenance costs. I am just at the point where I need to start doing my first oil change. And I've called multiple dealerships just for an oil change here in Missouri is $110 plus tax. Now this is just the first thing that I have come across, but I can only imagine everything else that's going to come with, which I know I bought a higher performance car, I should have known, but I can only imagine with the oil change being 110, what it's going to cost to change these Brembos, get the rear differential fluid changed, all these things that you want to keep up on a car like this. You know, with having this kind of horsepower, maintenance is essential, otherwise you are going to tear stuff up. So that was my top 5 things that I hate about this car. Like I said, if there's anything that I missed, leave a comment below. And until next time, you guys have a great day.